Hello, all you beautiful football fans, and welcome to another installment of the DMD Sports Podcast. The first D stands for Drew, that's me,
The M stands for Matt, and that is me.
and the last stands for Dan. He wanted to be here tonight, however, he had a family emergency and could not make it. He's going to send
Yeah,
us our picks after. We can leave him in the comments or something, but yeah, if you pray, send out a prayer for him. If you don't, just send good vibes and good thoughts his way. He could really use them right now.
good vibes only.
Yeah, and we wish you were here, but life happens,
Of
unfortunately.
course.
So tonight we have a very special edition because we noticed 2 weeks ago we hit an hour and 45 minutes. Last week we hit 2 hours, just shy of 2 hours. We want to cut that down, and especially
A little
given it's a
bit.
Wednesday night for Matt and I. So the way we want to do this is we're going to call this a 2 minute drill edition. So what's going to happen is Matt and I are going to give each other 2 minutes to talk about a single game. Each game we're going to devote 2 minutes to talking to about tonight. Now we are going to have um, three 30-second timeouts for each of us. So if one of us wants to call timeout real quick, that's cool. We're going to add 30 seconds of that 2 minute clock. Okay? And we're not going to exactly cut it off at when the timer runs out to zero. It'll kind of be as if like, oh, there's a play still going on. There's no time on the clock. We'll let them finish their sentence depending on if it's me or Matt. However, um, if there's filibustering going on at the very end, so the other person can't talk and just total BS, the other person can call delay of game, and they will be able, because you can't finish a game on a penalty, right? So we'll go ahead and just allow the other person that was getting filibustered against to make a closing statement or a very quick rebuttal. Does that sound good to you, Matt?
I like this idea.
Okay, so first game we have 49ers Cardinals. Clock starts now.
Um, Shout out to the Cardinals for making it very close.
Yeah, they started to
It
come
looked
back.
like, yeah, it looked like the Niners were gonna blow them out, and then the Cardinals just made a spirited effort to come back from the dead.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of optimism, I would say, for the Cardinals fan base, especially with Kingsbury and then also Kyler Murray. You can't forget about that. You know, it's an entirely new offensive system that they're using, and
Mm-hmm.
it's working out very well for Kyler Murray. You know, typically you'll see that sophomore slump, which we very might well see next year, but I almost wonder if he possibly might be similar to kind of Lamar Jackson. He's very good at extending plays out, but
Yeah,
I think he has a better arm than Lamar Jackson, honestly.
I agree. I feel like he's got a little bit better accuracy. I think they need to get a couple of weapons outside of Larry Fitzgerald and Christian Kirk, because one, Larry Fitzgerald, while he's ageless, he's in danger of retiring at any point in time, right?
Yeah.
And Christian Kirk, who is a has been solid, he just doesn't provide enough of a boom. He's not like a number one receiver. He's a number two. He's a good deep threat, but
Yeah.
they need a reliable pass catching number one.
Yeah, and I think it was actually a pretty good move to pick up Kenyon Drake.
I was gonna
15 carries,
say,
110 yards. He got a rushing touchdown, very good.
oh yeah,
30 seconds on the clock, by the way, but a lot to look forward to with this Cardinals team, I definitely have to say. And one more thing, 49ers, they're 8-0, last undefeated team in the NFL.
yeah, this is true.
All right, 15 seconds. Anything else you want to say about this, Matt?
Yeah, I was gonna mention that
10.
they did all of this without David Johnson and Chase Edmonds, and they just plugged and played Kenyon Drake, and it ended up working.
Very good
Lots of
point.
optimism.
Yep. All right, we hit 2 minutes on that. Let's go ahead and talk about the next one here that we got. All
Okay.
right, Texans Jaguars clock starts now.
Oh,
First of
London
all, can
game.
I get an F in the chat for Minshew? That guy's done, unfortunately. Had a good run, but they're gonna bring Big Dick Nick back.
And I don't think I think him coming back at this point in time is a good idea because he's got an insane record in November and December.
Yeah, this is his time of year, and especially
Yeah.
because the South isn't entirely out of the Jaguars' reach.
Mm-mm.
I wouldn't pick them to go to the playoffs. I don't think they're gonna be a wild card team, but
Uh,
it's possible.
it's likely of all the teams that could end up in the wild card. I feel like the Jaguars have the best chance. they've got a good run game, and their defense isn't terrible. It's just not the best.
Hmm.
And I think having someone like Foles is going to help bring out that defense a bit better because it's like the Bears situation. All right, the Bears have a great defense, but their offense is inept. Minshew mania has been kind of dying down recently, and he's looked very rookie, and it's been causing the defense to just be on the field over and over again and just tiring it out.
Yeah, I get you. And then also trading away Ramsey, that hurts a bit too for their defense.
It does, but they still have AJ Bouye, who's been a great corner for them.
Yeah. But this was in London. Just great performance by Watson. You know,
Oh
all the
yeah,
guys there, 30 seconds. But the Jacksonville got destroyed.
yeah. It was that's the problem that Jacksonville's going to have to face going uphill. Is right now I think they've got like 0-3
15.
in the division, and that's really going to hurt them going forward.
Yeah, especially with all those tiebreakers. But one thing to
Hmm.
celebrate, that was the last London game of the year, so everyone can rejoice.
Woo! We have a Mexico game though.
Ugh. Oh, great. Okay. Uh, the time is up on that one.
Yeah,
Bears Eagles. Clock starts now. Um,
9 yards of offense in the first half.
yeah, the Bears got to figure out their offense. I don't
The
think
Bears,
Trubisky's their guy.
no.
Like I saw this on the NFL subreddit today, I believe it might have been last night. I don't know. Very recently though, I saw where Trubisky was out somewhere and like they had a bunch of TVs on, and it was a sports channel though. They were all criticizing Trubisky, and
Hmm.
Trubisky literally went and like tried changing the channel and turning the TVs off for
I
every
saw that
single
too.
one. It's just I understand you're on national TV and you're just getting roasted by everyone, and but that's not a great way to approach criticism. That's not good at all. Very unhealthy. You're not going to make any sort of development that way by shutting out your critics.
Mm-mm.
Because in this league, you know, you need to be able to improve on yourself. That's what you have to do every week, week in, week out. That's what you got to do, and he doesn't seem like he's open to doing that.
No, he doesn't look like that at all. He kind of just has this constant look of a deer in headlights. Like this game is just too big for.
Yeah, and then also, I mean, going kind of to Nagy a little bit, you had 14 runs, 14 carries by Montgomery for 40 yards, a
Well,
little
Eagles
under
have a good
three.
run stopping defense.
Yeah. However, Montgomery did get two running touchdowns, but Trubisky 10 for 21, only 125 yards.
Yeah,
And I understand they probably had to pass a little more.
yeah.
God damn it, I just did that. Accidentally opened up the highlights, but they were playing behind a bit. I believe it was 21 to nothing at one point. I can probably
It
pull it
was.
back up, but just not good all around.
No, the Bears need to get that situation figured out and fast before they waste the talent they have on defense. And they have some good pieces on offense. Allen Robinson's a good player. Their tight end core needs to be revamped. And I think them losing Kyle Long for the year
Timeout,
hurts their
timeout.
offense.
So I'm gonna go ahead and change this. I'm gonna change it to 31 seconds.
Okay.
Because I did call that with 1 second left.
All right, you're good. You're good.
Cool. I do want to say, I believe I just like lost my train of thought by calling that timeout. um,
Rip.
yeah, I just wasted a timeout. Rip. Um,
Nice, Andy
no,
Reid.
no, no. Thanks. But basically, the issue with the Bears is that they've been unsustainable. Where last season they generated a ton of turnovers, their defense is not doing the same thing. Defense is
Mm-mm.
probably giving up. That
Mm-hmm.
kills them. That kills their chances this season. They're not going to get back into it.
No, it's done.
It's done. Okay. Clock is up on that one. Let's go ahead and talk Vikings Chiefs. Let me
That
get the
was a
time up.
great. Oh,
No, no, you're cool. Go ahead. You can start. We're good.
oh, that was a great game. That was some good old-fashioned football. Kirk Cousins struggled on the day, but I wouldn't call that game all his fault. But Matt Moore, holy crap. He was facing against a relatively tough secondary, not as strong as it usually is,
Yeah.
but he was going downfield, just balls to the wall. I was impressed.
Yeah. Ton of weapons though for the Chiefs offense.
Oh
Ton
yeah.
of them. Um, I think that That's the thing, because here, the past two games for them have been very close. I want to say, I know they lost last week against Green Bay. I think they played Denver before that.
They haven't been blown out by any team.
No, no.
They
You
all
could
their
make an
losses have been
argument for the Colts,
close.
but that was still a 6 point game.
It was a close game, and the only thing was the Colts, like I said, played a very. They came to play that
They did.
night.
They did. They did a very good job of just running the ball down their throats and keeping that offense off the field, because that's how you beat the Chiefs. Like we've seen now, even with Matt Moore in, you have to keep their
Mm.
offense off the field. They're just even
You
then
do,
they're that explosive.
you do, and to the Chiefs' credit, they took the opportunity and they fixed their weakness, which was their run defense. They had to stack the box to do it,
And
but
sell
they
out.
fixed it.
The second someone starts running RPOs against that, though, they're screwed. I will say that.
Yeah.
Um, and then also the problem though I think with the Chiefs is that when they're trying to keep they want to keep the defense off the field for as long as possible too. Andy
Hmm.
Reid loves those big plays though. He loves the explosive plays, and that's going to result in your offense getting off the field relatively quickly and your defense getting back on 10 seconds.
Yep. Yeah. No. That's exactly what I said. If the Chiefs wanted to survive without Mahomes, they needed to get a ground game going, and they needed to become time of possession focused.
Cool. Clock is up on that one. All right, let's go ahead and pull up the next one here. We have Colts Steelers. Another missed kick by Vinatieri. This one on a much bigger spotlight, though.
It was not his fault.
No, but at the same time, I kind of feel like the Colts have been winning those one possession games recently. They've gotten, I don't want to
With
say
Jacoby Brissett.
luckily, I don't want to say lucky. Yeah, they did lose Brissett.
Yeah, they had Brian Hoyer in, and don't they put him in a good position? But the thing is, though, he, he he threw that interception that kind of hurt him. There's
Yeah,
a lot of fault at here, a lot at fault here. And like I said, I can't blame just Vinatieri. The laces weren't placed properly. I had to explain
no,
that whole situation to my mom because she asked, "Whose fault is that?" And I was like, "It's usually the long snapper and the placeholder, right?"
yeah, yeah. If they're lining it up where the laces are facing the kicker, that's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but once again, Mason Rudolph, he played fairly well. I mean, he did throw an interception, but 26 for 35, not a bad completion percentage by any means.
Mm-mm.
191 yards. Edmonds went off with the rushing. That's what they need. They need these other guys to step up.
Right. No T.Y. Hilton and the guy Zach Pascal. He's been showing up recently.
Yeah, the Colts have been pretty hurt lately, which is gonna hurt them here. But they also play Miami this upcoming week, so I guess it's a good time to get hurt.
Yeah, I'm pretty. Yeah, I mean, I guess.
Cool.
Okay,
20
I've.
seconds.
So I will have to be right back real quick.
Okay. Cool.
So
So
real quick.
yeah, you're good. Um, yeah, nothing else really to say about this game. There's only 9 seconds left, but Brissett does have that, sprained MCL, I believe, so that could be, I don't know the timetable for his return. It could be a minute before he comes back. Hopefully he does, just because, it sucks seeing players get hurt. But they also play against Miami, so Hoyer should not have that big of a problem this week. Although Miami has been trying lately, so we shall see what happens. Speaking of Miami, the next game is the Jets and Dolphins. I will go ahead and wait one moment. So if you want to like grab a snack or a drink or something, feel free to pause here and then come back.
Okay, I'm good.
That was very quick.
I told you I was.
Cool. All right. So up next we have Dolphins at Jets. The clock
The
starts now.
the Dolphins ruined the perfect tank.
Yup, they did. However, actually, well, Cincinnati can't really beat Miami going forward. They're tied with the Jets now. The Jets or the Dolphins are gonna have the third pick. If you had it today, I believe they're gonna be the third pick.
You know, I'm gonna go. out on a limb here, and I'm going to say that the Dolphins are better than the Jets. I mean, they just demonstrated it, but I think the
Yeah.
Dolphins are just an overall better team, which is crazy to say out loud because the Dolphins are so bad.
Yeah, it's insane. Like I saw a great post where it was like literally the worst team in NFL history, statistically speaking, has more wins than the 2017 Browns. And Fitzpatrick played one hell of a game. 24 for 36, 288 yards, three touchdowns. Gasecki, great. I believe he's a tight end.
Yeah,
Six receptions for 95 yards. That's good. That's really good.
yeah. The Dolphins are an interesting bunch of players in general because it's just I don't know. I feel like you can't blame the coaching staff for anything. I think they've met expectations because their team wasn't that good last year. It
Yeah,
was looking a little bit better, but anyway, to go back to the Jets, this was a team that a lot of pundits had as a playoff team.
they looked like one. Yeah, they did. Especially with how
And
Sam Darnold was last year in the improvements, but he's seeing ghosts now.
yeah, that
10 seconds.
sophomore slump hit him hard.
It did. Do you want to call a timeout quick? Anything you need to say? Three
No, I'm
seconds?
good.
All right, cool.
Sure.
That's all there is for that one. All right, up next we got the Redskins and Bills. Clock starts now.
Bills
Haskins.
needed a revenge game.
Oh, they did. They got back on track. Josh Allen, 14 for 20, 160 yards. Singletary, 20 carries for 95 yards, averaging 4.5. Frank Gore, though, only 11 carries for only 15 yards. He did not have a very good day. Is he injured or?
I'm not sure actually. I think I think the Bills kind of had a game plan for the Redskins. They knew Haskins was going to play. I feel like they were going to sell out against the run and let Tre'Davious White and I don't even know who their other corner is do
Yeah,
their job.
and essentially dare Haskins to throw the ball.
Make him win with his arm. Haskins didn't throw an interception, and he didn't have a bad game. He just didn't have a good game.
Yeah, I mean 15 for 22. That's not bad at all. They had 18 carries for 108 yards. It looks like I want to say they weren't on the field all that much.
No.
So it's really hard to generate points that way, but not a single
Hmm.
touchdown, only field goals. It's got to be demoralizing.
Right, but again, this is a rookie quarterback who is playing for a pretty bad team outside of his defensive line and one linebacker
And one O
I
lineman.
and one O lineman. But I mean, I'd say Haskins did
30
exactly what
seconds.
I'd say Haskins met my expectations considering the team he is on.
Yeah, I get you. I totally get that. But also at the same time too, I'm just worried they're going to ruin Haskins' development here. We had that discussion last week, and
Hmm.
they're essentially forcing him in. I don't know why. And then also they didn't want to trade Trent Williams. 5 seconds. I just want to use the last 5 seconds to say fuck Dan Snyder.
Agreed.
And the clock is up on that one. I gotta say, I'm really liking the flow a bit more. I wish we had a little more time, but
Hmm.
I didn't really watch all the games this past week, so that's okay.
There weren't many good games to really
No,
watch.
there weren't. But up next, Tennessee, Carolina. Clock starts now.
Carolina needed a revenge game.
Yeah, Carolina came in. They got the win. Cam Newton placed on IR, so they're rolling with Kyle Allen. They think that he'll be able to do something for them, and I don't think it's that bad of a decision.
No,
His completion percentage, though, 17 for 32. That's just barely above 50%.
I mean that's
232 yards, though, two touchdowns, one interception.
I mean that's Cam Newton stats, barely above 50%.
Yeah. But the
I
thing with
mean,
Cam Newton is you got that run threat, too.
you do, but who needs a run threat when you got Christian McCaffrey?
Who went 24 carries for 146 yards, two
I'm aware.
touchdowns, averaging 6.1. Yeah, you got him on your fantasy. I don't know. I'll keep this for hot takes, I guess. Um, yeah, I'll save it for hot takes. Just a comment on Christian McCaffrey. But although I don't think it's a hot take.
Are you saying he's gonna go like 1500 or something?
No, I'm saying he's going to win the MVP this season. I think he is the front runner for winning the
Whew.
MVP.
That's a hard thing to do as a running back.
Yeah.
But what I was gonna say though is I kind of have Christian McCaffrey as my top non-quarterback pick, but at the same time, there was a note I was gonna say and I forgot it. Oh, Ryan Tannehill came back down to earth, and he did not look like the superhero he's looked like for the past couple weeks for the Titans.
No, with the 2 turnovers, but also 27 for 39, 331 yards. If he didn't throw those turnovers, they could have probably won this game.
They were not going to win in Carolina. They
Yeah,
might have won in Nashville, but they're not winning in Carolina that day. Carolina was an angry Panthers team. They got humiliated by the Niners, and they wanted to get that rectified.
I don't know because we got 5 seconds, but I don't know. I really feel that you know what? Fuck it. Timeout. Timeout.
Okay,
I'm gonna go ahead. I'm just gonna change it to 30 seconds to make it fair.
okay, okay.
I got one left. Great. I really think that though, if you don't have those turnovers, it means you have the ball more. You can score more. It was a two-possession game.
Yep,
Those two interceptions that could have been the two possessions right there. You know
that's
what I
true.
mean?
This is
So
true.
I really think I understand where you're coming from, but at the same time, I
Hmm.
really think if they didn't turn the ball over, they'd be right in it. 5 seconds. Anything you want to say? Call timeout.
I have a hot take, but I'll save that for hot takes.
Okay. Cool. I'll go ahead and change that back to 2 minutes.
Okay.
We have the Lions at the Raiders. Clock starts now.
Air raid. It was just bomb after bomb thrown by Stafford and Carr. No defense showed up.
Yeah, yeah. This is one that I wish I kind of watched because it was back and forth. It really was.
It was kind of a fun game. If you like offense, which most people do, everyone likes those explosive things until you
Yeah.
get sick of them real quick.
Yeah, well, the
But
best regular season game last year was between the Rams and the Chiefs, where both teams scored over 50 points.
right, right. But anyway, the big thing I want to point out is that on the last play of the game, the Lions had a chance to tie it, and they don't have Marvin Jones on the field to make a risk. Not only don't they have Marvin Jones, they don't even have Kenny Galladay out there. What are you doing, Matt Patricia? You don't have your two best wide
What,
receivers out
what
there?
was the situation?
They were on the goal line.
Oh,
And they threw like
I
a over the top pass to some random wide receiver on their team. I don't even remember who, but they
were
didn't
they in
have their
I
one and
formation,
two.
single back, gun?
You are asking me to remember a lot.
Because here's the thing: if they were going out and they were saying, "Hey," if they're in I formation, they're like, "Hey, we're gonna do a run here. Our fullback is gonna make a hole, and our guy's gonna go in," and they tried to do a play action or something. I don't know. I could see why they maybe did that, but at the same time, I don't know. If you want to make the defense guess a little more, put out your two top, receivers.
Exactly. Who are tearing it up.
Hmm.
That's the thing. Marvin Jones and Kenny Galladay had a
Oh,
day
they
for
did.
the line.
Yeah, Galladay averaged 33 yards a reception,
They're
four
all just
catches,
deep
132
catches.
yards.
All deep
Marvin
catches.
Jones, 8 126, 15.8. Stafford, though, 406 yards, 3 touchdowns, not bad at all. Carr had 289, 1 second on the clock, and we are done. I'm going to try and be a little more proactive about calling out the time as I go.
It's all good.
Okay, up next, we had a doozy of a game. Buccaneers at Seahawks. Clock starts now.
Seahawks look kind of vulnerable.
They do, but they came back.
Well, of course. It's Russell Wilson, right?
Yeah, and he had one hell of a throw in that overtime to set him up in inside the 10, I believe.
He did.
You know.
Russell Wilson is my MVP favorite, if we're talking about that real quick.
Okay.
Uh,
We,
he's
we
just.
can we can open up the middle section, but yeah, continue.
But anyway, I mean, I saw that the Bucks were up. I was like, that doesn't matter. The Seahawks they turn it up when they're down. Like they said in that one game again this year with the Rams, they like it when they're playing from behind.
Yeah.
It's really weird, but if it works, it works.
Yeah, if
But
you can get that motivate, I mean, you don't want to get yourself in those positions, but if you can use that motivation, sometimes people just thrive when they have to go clutch.
And I unfortunately the Buccaneers they just don't have a good enough secondary to last in these kinds of shootouts. Ultimately, they're going to put up the points, but then they can't stop the other points from happening long enough.
Yeah, which is a huge issue. I mean, Winston, I don't see any interceptions here. I don't know if he got any fumbles or not, but
I think he fumbled.
okay, well, not as many turnovers as we're used to.
No,
335 yards on 29, completions. That's not bad. Two
no.
touchdowns. Mike Evans went off 12 receptions for 180 yards.
hmm
Really good. Russell Wilson, 29-43. That's funny. They have like nearly identical uh, stats here. 378 yards though and five touchdowns. That's huge. I can see why he's the MVP favorite. But here's the big thing with the Seahawks: they got Josh Gordon. They got that deep threat. Russell Wilson is not afraid to throw it deep, and I think the Seahawks have definitely improved with picking
Oh,
up Gordon.
oh yeah. No, that was a big time move.
Definitely. 2 seconds
That's
and
all I got.
cool. Yeah, I say I'm gonna go ahead and be a little more proactive here. Doesn't be proactive. Um, okay. Packers, Chargers. Clock starts now.
I'm so
What
happy.
the hell happened to the Packers?
I'm so happy.
Like what? Like
Oh,
I don't get it. Like the Chargers are like the most inconsistent team in the sense where they fumble away games, they throw away opportunities and they come out and they beat the Packers of all
Char-
teams.
this wasn't the Chargers offense by any means. It was the Chargers defense. They held Aaron Rodgers to 32 first half yards of offense.
Yeah.
So the Chargers defense showed up, and the Chargers offense just did enough to keep them alive. But oh man, this was a great week because uh, contending teams lost while my boys were on a bye week, which top notch. But no, just the Chargers defense showed up to play some ball, and the Packers were just not expecting it. They just looked completely blindsided.
I get that. I mean, Jones did not really go off this game. 8 carries for 30 yards.
Mm-mm.
He had one reception for -1 yards. I want to say that was on a screenplay that they should not have ran. They should have probably Rodgers probably should have ran the defense a little better and was like, they're in man, but I'm still gonna go ahead and throw a screen anyway.
Right.
Um, you know, but I guess the key, well, maybe if they were really able to stop the run, that's one way to beat the Packers. Because Aaron Jones has been a huge weapon,
And
huge,
Rodgers hasn't looked as superhuman. I mean, he still looks like a good quarterback, but he doesn't look
definitely.
like the old Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. 10 seconds, by the way.
Um,
But
like I said, Chargers just came out to play.
yeah. Anything else you want to say?
No, that's all I got.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, that's all I got too. All right. Up next on the list, we have Broncos and Browns. Clock starts now. The one week I picked Cleveland, the Broncos show up and it's just I mean they put in their backup Brandon Allen, like 12 for 20, 193, two touchdowns. I think the Browns are
Look,
screwed. They're
looked like
done.
the second coming of Montana for the well, not second coming of
Elway.
Elway. Yeah.
Just
Uh,
I don't get the Browns. I don't. They had so much talent. Maybe they're letting it get to their heads. You
yep.
know, that's probably the case, and it's something they're gonna have to work through. Mayfield is going probably through a sophomore slump, but at the same time, just they're done. They're screwed.
No,
I
their season's effectively over. I mean, the Steelers, for God's sake, without Ben Roethlisberger and three different quarterbacks, are 4-4.
yeah, and and I mean the Browns are able to shut down the Ravens, but I want to say that might have been an outlier. You
That was
know,
their Super Bowl.
that might have been, and it could be entirely a mentally thing with them. 50 seconds.
Well, the thing with the Browns is it's such a young team. It's a very young team with a rookie head coach. Why did they fire Greg Williams?
I don't
Correction,
know.
let Greg Williams walk.
They shouldn't have, and they go with a
No,
guy who makes the most boneheaded decisions on like plays to challenge and whatnot.
exactly.
Calling draws on 4th and 9.
Now,
He's just not good.
Now, don't get me wrong. The Cleveland Browns last season, they got their record by beating up on some sorry teams. But then you go out there and you add Odell Beckham Jr. and you add some other really good pieces in the offseason, like Olivier Vernon, and you would think that there would be some kind of thing, like
10
there would
seconds.
be a nucleus that worked, and it's just not.
Yeah, it really hasn't worked for them. But maybe they can get it together next season, but not this season.
No, they're
Uh,
done,
yeah. Time is
which is a
up.
disappointment.
Yeah, well, yeah. Expected a lot from them.
Oh yeah,
Okay. So here's the deal. This is why I saved my last time out. I was like, I gotta really save this here. Patriots at Ravens. Clock starts now. Do you mind if I take the floor with this one?
have fun.
I'm not overly concerned. Because here's the thing. Aside from that, first quarter beginning of the second where it was 17 to nothing at one point, from then on the Patriots didn't look awful. I mean, there was that awful interception by Brady, and then that play where Julian should have held onto the ball but didn't. That effectively killed that drive and changed the momentum again. But other than that, the Patriots didn't look awful. I think they, I wouldn't say they were exposed. I do think they have some issues with stopping the run, but I think that was magnified because going up against the Ravens offense, they were doing a lot of what they were doing last season, where they're going to go into okay. Last season, what they did was they said, okay, we're going to go ahead and basically, you know, go out in these formations. We're going to do very different things with every play. Every play was predetermined, and the Chargers effectively shut that down in the playoffs. Now, this time they've put options into the mix. And run options are so difficult to defend because they are designed around certain matchups. They are designed, to exploit who's not being covered in that instance. I remember one where Lamar Jackson was running with the ball. Right before he got mauled by someone, he pitched it to the running back on his right. You can't really defend that. It's very
No,
difficult to, even with running spies and stuff. But I don't think the Patriots are done by any means. I don't
no.
think that you know. I think that the Ravens just did very well with calling run options, and I think that for all the teams to lose to, I think that this was the one for the Patriots where they're going to get crucified the most. But props to the Ravens. They came out, they played a great game. They had the Patriots, on their heels, and Patriots almost came back into it though. 5 seconds. I'm going to call a timeout here and reset it. So I'll put
Okay.
34 on the clock, I believe. But for me personally, this team with their culture, and this like, don't count them out yet. I don't see a lot of people counting them out, which
No,
is good, I guess. But they're resilient by nature. On Monday, Belichick was tearing every player a new asshole. They're gonna
right.
learn their mistakes. They're gonna come out and they're on to Philadelphia. And
Exactly.
that's what I gotta say about that.
My only note is,
Here,
and
10
I think,
seconds. Do you want to use a timeout?
nah, it's a quick note. The Patriots do have a run game weakness. They are struggling against the run, and it's not just the Ravens. It was also the Browns. It was also the Bills.
Mm-hmm.
Those. All right, timeout.
You know what? It ran out, but since it's your first, I'll be nice and put 30
All
on the
right,
clock for you. Okay?
all
Go.
right. I didn't get the 1 second anyway. So, um, you have Yonda right up front for the Ravens, a really good offensive guard. I think the thing is, if you can just move that Patriots front four aside enough, and you can just get someone to blast out the backfield, those linebackers, while they're really good, are not going to be able
Five
to stop
seconds.
that as fast as they can. You know,
Yeah, I definitely agree.
that's all I got.
Cool. Cool. Let me put 2 on the clock. Where'd it go? There it is. Very last one. Cowboys Giants. Clock starts now.
Most exciting thing of that game was the cat.
Yes, the cat. The cat. How
Like,
can you not? How can you not
yeah,
enjoy that? But to keep it for football's sake, right here, Prescott, not a bad game by any means. 22 for 35, 257 yards, 3 touchdowns.
yeah.
Did have one interception though. Mari Cooper showed up with a touchdown, 4 receptions for 80 yards. Definitely a good game. Daniel Jones, 26 for 41. 210 yards, 1-1. That's given that's less than what 10. That's definitely less than 10 yards per throw there, which
hmm
happens. But even then,
So if you watched the game, you would have seen that the Giants had a really good chance in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
Dallas was struggling with ball control like badly. They were fumbling. Dak threw a really bad interception on his first throw of the game. That was his only interception.
Yeah.
But the problem was though that once Daniel Jones did get into the red zone, they just couldn't move. They just stalled, and I feel like that's on play calling. I think Pat Shermer or whoever their offensive coordinator is just not. They're not calling a really good red zone offense, and that's really hurting the Giants. They have Saquon
Yeah.
Barkley. They barely used him in the red zone. Now, don't get me wrong, Dallas has a good run stopping unit, but you have Saquon Barkley and you don't use him in the red zone?
Yeah, and I'm a big believer, in old school football, just line up in I formation and punch it in. That's what you got to do. And I don't know if the, Giants did that, but Barkley only 14 carries for 28 yards.
Exactly.
And I feel like they were close enough at one point in the game where they could afford to run the ball more.
Exactly. And they didn't.
No. Now, granted,
Eh,
Barkley did have 6 receptions for 67 yards, so they
One of
might have had a different game plan a bit,
that last reception was a big play.
Okay. 1 second.
So,
Do you want to use a timeout?
no.
No? Okay. Here, I'll let you make a quick point since that's the last play, or the last game, rather.
Basically that last reception he got was a big play. It went for like 50 yards or something. That's all the yards that made up that 67 right there. That's
Okay.
it.
Cool. Well, that is over. We can go ahead and talk hot takes now.
Okay.
I'm not going to put a time limit here, just because this section is usually a bit quicker than the others, and we
Right.
got through that pretty well.
Oh yeah.
So let's go ahead. Just what do you got, Matt?
So mine is gonna involve Cam Newton. And my hot take for Cam Newton is that he will be traded in the offseason and he will be traded to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Interesting. That's he's going to be traded within the division.
Yep.
I don't see that happening given the South, and how much they hate each other. But where does Winston
But
go? Where does Winston go?
Winston's going to be a free agent.
Okay.
But the trade is they trade Cam Newton and the Buccaneers will give back Chris Godwin and a draft pick.
Okay.
Panthers need receiving
Interesting.
weapons. Chris Godwin's a good receiving weapon. He's young. He could be built around Kyle Allen. It would work out very well for both parties.
I get you. That's possible, but I don't. At the same time, I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
mean, it's a hot
I could
take,
definitely
right?
see picking up Godwin. I could see
Yeah.
that certainly helping, and for a draft pick, maybe that's worth trading Newton.
I'm telling you, it's either if Newton wants to keep playing, he is not gonna be able to play in Carolina. He's either gonna get traded or he's gonna get dropped. His
Yeah,
contract is not worth it.
I see what you're saying.
And then the second thing is involving my little punching bag, the Atlanta Falcons. The
You
Saints
really
drop a
hate them, don't you?
the Saints drop a 50 burger on the Falcons and hold them under 20 points.
Ooh, 50. Oh man, hold them under 20.
Yep.
Interesting. Interesting. Good thing I have Breeze as my starting quarterback this week.
Hate week.
um. Okay. I'll go ahead and go with my hot take. There's only one that I really have. I would say that the Ravens' offense is not sustainable. I believe that they have a lot of similar characteristics as last year, where as soon as someone figures them out on film, even with options, they can probably find a way to stop those. They're in serious trouble. Because if the options aren't working, you're back to running the ball, traditionally, or you're throwing
Mm-hmm.
it.
Right.
That's the big thing. Because we saw last year, where as soon as the film got out on the Ravens, their explosive offense went quiet in that playoff game, and they were only really scoring points in garbage time. And because the Chargers almost let them back into that game. Almost. It was very close at the end of that playoff game, but
Yeah.
I think we're going to see the same thing here. I mean, I understand it's the Patriots, you want to go all out, but they might have shown too much, you know? On the other hand, they might not run any more options and stick to their normal game plan, and teams are going to be selling out to stop those options, possibly.
Exactly. So the ball's now in Harbaugh's court, right?
Yep.
He's got to be the one that now dictates, hey, that was that one game. Now let's change up our game plan. Let's do some other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't want to get one dimensional in the NFL.
No, you don't. Unless you have amazing weapons like Tyreek Hill, and even when they're on one-on-one coverage, they can still beat that. Julio Jones, who can make, circus catches, stuff like
Right.
that. Or I'm trying to think of like a power back where, like even Christian McCaffrey, if he can, break so many tackles and get through,
Right.
stuff like that. And I don't know if the Ravens necessarily have those weapons. Ingram went off, but
Ingram's been going off.
yeah, he has. Um, do you have any more hot takes?
No, I'm good.
All right, I'm good too. That's all I really had. So we can go ahead and we can talk picks.
Yeah, man.
Cool.
I need to pull up the schedule.
I can read it off if you want.
I kind of like looking at because I'm able to kind of get a thought before it comes up.
Okay.
So
Yeah, go ahead and pull it up. I'll give you a second here.
yeah.
But I do have it pulled up within my Google Doc here.
Okay.
You
If
cool
you're
with me
ready,
reading off
just
the first one?
yeah, let's go for it.
Okay. We have. Oh, that was supposed to be the Chargers. So I have we got the Chargers at the Raiders. They're playing in Oakland. I'm gonna go ahead and say, because this is the Raiders' like first home game in a very long time, isn't it?
I think so.
Because they went like through a long time where they were constantly playing on the
No,
road.
they were at home. No, they were at home this week. This
Oh,
past
okay,
week.
okay. But it's a Thursday night game. I'm gonna take the Raiders.
Um, always the home team, right, on Thursday nights. I'm thinking. I feel like the Chargers are going to build off this momentum,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm going to pick the Chargers.
Fair point. If we can beat the Packers, who else can we beat? You know.
Exactly.
Giants at Jets. Oh, sorry. Did you have something else to say?
No.
Okay. Giants at Jets. Technically a home game for both of them. I'm gonna take the Jet. Excuse me. Jesus. I'm gonna take the Giants.
I am also going to take the Giants.
Okay. Uh, we have the Falcons at Saints. I'm gonna put us both for New Orleans on this one. Is that cool?
Yep. Absolutely.
Cool.
It is a trap
Chiefs.
game.
It could be, but still, you're playing in New Orleans
Absolute trap
against
game.
their
It's a
rival.
divisional.
But Breeze is back.
It's a
They're looking
divisional.
good. Fair enough. I still like New Orleans' chances though.
Oh, I do too.
You said they were going to put up a 50 burger.
I do. I am confident.
Win by 30 points. Win a 5 possession game pretty much.
Still think it's a trap game though.
Fair enough. That's why it's a hot take, right?
Right.
We have the Chiefs at Titans. I'm going to take the Chiefs.
Mahomes might be back.
He might be, but if not, they got Moore, who has played pretty well.
Yeah, I like Kansas City here.
Okay. And here's the thing though, Tennessee, all things perfectly balanced. They lost on the road last week, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, they gotta get that home record back. They gotta, I don't know. I mean, they could lose this one. They could still go 4-4 on home, 4-4 on the road,
Exactly.
because they're probably gonna finish 500. Baltimore at Cincinnati. AJ Green likely back.
Uh, that's awesome, but he's also going to be rusty. He hasn't played in 8 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Give me the Ravens. I
Okay.
think the Ravens are just a way better team than Cincinnati.
I'm gonna go ahead and agree with you as well. I'm gonna go with Baltimore. But here's the thing with Hill, or not Hill, Green. I've gotten so many fantasy trades this past week regarding Hill, where they're like, hey, give me Matt Ryan and Green, and like one of them was like Mason Rudolph and someone else. Like I've never like laughed out loud at trades in my life, but I've done it a couple times this week. Like there was one where they wanted Kittle and Green. That one I just straight up laughed at. I was like, nah, that's not happening.
Yeah, I was able to pick up Green in one of my other leagues. I was
Oh,
gonna try
nice.
and pick him up this week, but in our league, but that didn't happen.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure. I think I might have him.
Jeremy has him.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, good luck getting that.
Yeah.
Bills at Browns. I'm gonna let you answer this one first.
Hmm. Part of me wants to say Cleveland, but the other part of me is like, my brain is saying Buffalo, but my heart's saying Cleveland. I'm going with my brain. Give me Buffalo.
Buffalo. Okay. I'm gonna take Buffalo as well. This is being kind of boring with our predictions now. Maybe this will give us a bit of a dispute. Arizona at Tampa Bay. I'm gonna take Arizona.
I'm gonna take the Buccaneers.
All right, cool. We're different.
They
Um,
have too many weapons for the Cardinals to stop.
but here's the deal: if Winston turns the ball over, the Bucks are screwed.
That's fair, but Arians also knows the Cardinals.
That is a good point. But then it's a new system though.
Still, so has been the Rams, and so has been the who did they just play? The
Seahawks.
Seahawks.
That's a fair point. That is a fair point.
He's been
It's going
playing
to
really good
determine.
against the NFC West.
Yeah, it's and plus the West. Playing in Tampa, traveling doesn't look good for the Cardinals, but I think the Cardinals are going to take it. I think that Winston is due for another 4 interceptions, 3 or
The
4.
prob the problem I have picking the Cardinals, and I'm not gonna. I think the Cardinals is a very fair pick, but the problem is if they shut down the running game for the Cardinals, because Tampa Bay's got the best run-stopping defense in the NFL. Kyler Murray goes one-dimensional, and that's not good. That's what happened against the Saints, and we saw how that panned out.
Yeah, but that's also the Saints. You
That's
know.
fair. That's fair. I'm just
Um,
saying.
I get you. I get you. Do we want to move on to Lions at Bears?
Yep, and I'm picking Detroit.
I'm leaning towards Detroit as well. It's not looking good for the Bears. It really isn't. If they lose
No.
this week, their season's done. I'm gonna take
Oh
Detroit.
yeah.
It's yeah. It, you know, so much promise this season, and it just hasn't panned out.
Uh-uh.
Miami at Indianapolis. I'm gonna take the Colts.
I thought you said the Dolphins for some reason. I was like,
Oh no,
wow.
no. I mean, you picked Miami
Woo!
last week, and you were right.
It's
So
not happening twice in a row. I am picking the Colts.
okay. Carolina at Green Bay.
Ooh.
I really want I want to pick the Packers here, but at the same time, they lost to the Chargers last week. Now, granted, any given Sunday, teams always, match up and scheme differently against other teams, but Green Bay, they could be looking for a fuck you game here,
Yeah, but the Packers' biggest weakness is the Panthers' greatest weapon.
which is McCaffrey. I know.
Yeah.
Oh,
But it's Aaron Rodgers at home. It's hard to bet against that.
it is. Well, to be fair, the Eagles, I mean, it was a Thursday night game, but the Eagles went in. They forced Rodgers to throw a pick at the end zone at the end of the game.
Do I think the Packers can lose 3 games at home this year? Do I
The
think
Chiefs
Kyle
have.
Allen can? I know I was in a row too. Do I think that the Panthers can go into Lambeau and win though? I'm gonna go with who I want to win this game. I want Green Bay to win this game.
Okay.
The
This
Panthers
is
need
a
to get
tough one. This
further
kind of
back in the
is.
race.
I mean,
Yeah,
because
this is a tough one. This is
it,
a good game.
it's going to be a good game. This is one to definitely highlight, I feel. I hope it's on locally here. Um,
Um,
I'll check.
it
They're going to post it tomorrow, I think, or maybe
it won't
today.
be. The
But
Rams are playing the Steelers,
oh, great.
so we'll probably get the Rams.
Uh, selling out for LA. Gotta love Arizona. Um, oh man, I don't know. I really don't because I almost wonder. Aaron Jones got shut down last week, and I feel like he's a really big part of their offense.
Mm-hmm.
Because is Adams playing again, or is he still out?
Devontae Adams is back.
Okay. Oh man. See, the question is that Carolina defense. I think that's gonna be the deciding factor in this
And we
one.
saw what it did against the Niners.
Yeah. Oh, this is a tough one.
Oh yeah.
This is tough.
Oh yeah.
Like even if like you put a gun up against my head, it was like pick it. I don't know.
Shoo
um,
me.
you know what? Just to be different, I'll take Carolina because it's
All
gonna be
right.
hard to stop McCaffrey.
That's fair. That's fair.
Rams at Steelers.
I'm going bold. I'm picking the Steelers.
Okay. Because what's the you know what? Here's the thing though. I think the Steelers realize they got something going. I think they could get into it. I'm gonna go ahead and pick the Steelers as well because you know the Rams. Here's the thing: the Steelers they have an issue with playing down to their competition. I don't think
They
that's the
do.
case here. I don't think that's the case here at all.
No.
Um, because you know they were able to beat Indianapolis last week. They could ride that momentum and say, because they're 500 right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they
They're
could be they
second place in the division,
yeah they
and
could say,
they're not
hey,
out of the
we
playoff
still got a
race.
chance. You know, we can still do
Exactly.
this.
Yep. And
Um,
I think James Conner might be back.
which would be huge for them.
Oh yeah.
Really open up things a bit. But even then, their run play didn't necessarily suffer last week at all. It still
Mm-mm.
played very well. Minnesota at Dallas. I'm gonna take Dallas here.
Who'd you end up picking for the Rams and Steelers?
I picked the Steelers.
Oh, okay. Minnesota at Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
And you said Dallas?
I did.
Hmm. It's an above 500 team.
Prime
All
time.
right, give me
Prime time.
Dallas.
Yeah. The second I say prime time, you're like, give me Dallas. Well, you know what? This is the week for Kirk Cousins. If he can, here's the deal. If he can get that monkey off his back where Cousins cannot win the big games, props to him. But I don't know if he'll be able to do it.
No,
This will be a good game.
I
This
think Dallas
is
is getting momentum right now.
yeah, this is definitely one of the few games to watch this week.
The
Seattle,
next
San
game,
Francisco, the best game this whole week.
second to Panthers and Green Bay, in my opinion. I don't know. I feel like that game's just going to be good. But this game is really good, too.
Oh, I don't know. I'd say this one's gonna be well. Okay, actually, I don't know who the commentators are for the Panthers and Packers. It's not gonna
That's,
be. It's gonna be on Fox, isn't it?
it's going to be, it's probably going to be Buck and Aikman.
Oh, we're gonna get stuck with Buck and oh man.
You're going to get stuck with the Aaron Rodgers slobberfest.
Yep. Oh, and then you're also gonna be stuck with in this one the awful Monday Night Crew. Booger's gotten a little
Bug.
better.
He
He's gotten a
has.
little.
I
I
like.
think he gained a lot of respect from people, and people aren't being as harsh because he called out the refs.
Hmm.
You know, I think that's definitely part of it.
And I
But
don't mind Jim Tessitore.
I don't know. It's the graphics for ESPN, like the scoreboard's not good. Everything
Oh,
else
yeah.
is awesome except for the scoreboard. It's so disgusting.
I
And
agree.
the
But
Genesis
anyway,
halftime show.
that's pretty bad, too.
Oh, it's awful. They bring on some mumble rapper or just I don't know, man. Just it's bad. But
Yeah.
anywho, who you got? Or do you want me to go first?
You go first.
I think that with the addition of Josh Gordon, it is going to open up the Seahawks playbook. I think that the 49ers are not going to see anything they've really seen all this season. You know, between Carson Penny, Metcalf, Wilson, and then, you know, obviously the addition of Josh Gordon. I'm going to go ahead and take Seattle. I think, I'm not going to say their defense is going to get exposed. I think it's just going to be a different challenge that they're not used to. You know, granted, last week was a Thursday night game, which is maybe
Yeah.
part of the reason why the Cardinals put up 25 points and kept it close till the end, but I got Seattle.
Joe Staley and Kyle Juszczyk might be back for the Niners. George Kittle could possibly be out. Russell Wilson is Russell Wilson. You know what? I'm going with Seattle as well.
Okay.
I think I just Russell Wilson shows up in prime time.
He does. He's a great quarterback. Very good. Um, definitely top 5, I would say.
Oh yeah,
Right now, definitely top 5.
he's finally getting respect.
Definitely. I'm just kind of scrolling through our picks right now so everyone can see them one more time. But yeah, was there anything else you wanted to say? Anything you didn't get a chance to talk about that you really wanted to talk about? Because we went through quick. We're about an hour right now. We have a couple minutes to play with if you want.
It is hate week, and I am so glad that our chain of divisional games has begun, so we can start really stacking up some wins here, so we can start separating from some of these other teams.
Yeah, I understand. And plus, this might be the week where, unless the Falcons, oh, no, well, the Falcons are 1-7. They're not going to go 9-7. 9-7 in the NFC is not going to get you a playoff spot. Their season's canceled. It's done. Um,
Yeah,
I don't really
but
know what you're playing. I guess you're playing for your job if you're Dan Quinn.
spoilers, just be spoilers.
Yeah, it is fun to be a spoiler. You
That's all
know,
I got.
Tony Stark died. Um, Bro, spoilers! It only came out 8 months ago.
No, you can't say it yet. They never said you could say it yet.
Ugh.
Actually, they did.
But here's the thing, though, with the NFL, like, I love the NFL, but I also kind of hate it at the same time because it's great when football's back, but it's already week 10. The season's already halfway over.
There's only 19 weeks.
Well, regular season, I mean, including playoffs. Not including playoffs, excuse me.
No, there's only 17 weeks, so I mean, it goes by quick. Unlike some of these
does.
other sports.
Well, hockey's the longest. Like, I mean, people think
Baseball?
no. If you're talking, okay, number of games, yes, baseball's the longest with 162. However, they start in early April, end of March. Like literally, like the last 2 days of March is when they might start, but definitely April, and then they go all the way to October. Hockey, on the other hand, starts the first week of October. Usually October 1st is when they're like, okay, let's start hockey. That goes all the way to June when you include playoffs. And then when you count the off season, if a team won the Stanley Cup, they only get, because it's usually like the midpoint of June that it's over, they get half of June. Then July, August, September preseason starts.
Also, hockey doesn't play a game every day.
No, but they usually play like usually 3 or 4 a week, which is it's hockey. It's taxing, dude. Like really taxing.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying, baseball plays like multiple games a day, so I mean, it goes by. No, okay, I can see why the NHL would take even longer.
Oh yeah, because you got the 7 games. Because with baseball too, it's like okay, we can just start the next night. Whereas hockey, they give them the night off and then they go again. Because very rarely do you see substitutions. Whereas with like where it's like okay, like sometimes you'll see a guy on like the fourth line maybe get scratched out, or they'll do something with the lines and they have to scratch someone out of the lineup. But with baseball, the only thing really changing is your lineup, depending on who you're pitching against, if they're a righty or a lefty, and then also who your starting pitcher is. That's
Right.
it, for the most part. But it's crazy that baseball's over. Like that went by stupid fast too. Like stupid.
Did it?
This whole year, this decade is over in 2 months.
The Roaring Twenties.
Oh, Roaring Twenties Part 2. It's probably gonna start with a recession. But anywho, is there anything else you'd like to add, Matt? Anything you want to talk about?
No,
Maybe
man,
a certain
I think I'm
someone that's
good.
the system quarterback.
Oh, haha, you shoehorned a joke in.
Yep,
Uh,
I'm a Patriots fan. I gotta talk about Brady at some point, right?
of course, of course.
You weren't expecting that though, were you?
Nope, you threw me off there. But
I'll
no,
have to
man,
tell you
I
about
think I'm
some of
good
the
to go.
upvotes I've gotten. But yeah, okay. We hope that you enjoyed this format. It was certainly a lot quicker. Hopefully it aligned with your schedule a bit better. Um, we're gonna definitely, hopefully, watch some more of the games this past week so we can try and figure something out. Maybe instead of doing a 2-minute drill, we extend it to 3 minutes. Still keep that 2 minute, or the 30-second timeouts if we want to do that. Stuff like that. But I think it
Yeah.
went pretty well. Let us know what you guys think. Matt, in your Facebook group, I'll put it in the YouTube comments too, what Dan picked when he gets back to us. Because he's going through a hard time right now. But
Yeah,
I
he's having a rough
knowing him, he'll probably get his picks in. But if he doesn't, I won't hold that against him either. You know what I mean? Like if we want to be fair, you and I we'll talk about this otherwise, but we might not count it to the season totals if Dan doesn't get them in time.
Yeah, that'd be only fair.
Yeah, and then you and I can just kind of go for bragging rights with this one, or winner gets $20.
I bet.
All right. Well, I am Drew.
I am Matt.
And we hope you had a good, fun time with us.
Yeah.
Take it easy.
Later, guys.